Hey, Jason Collings here at the world famous Comedy and Magic Club here in Hermosa Beach with another episode of Behind the Punchline. How did I first get into stand-up comedy? Well, I lied my way into comedy because I always wanted to do it since I was younger, but I had kids young, so I didn't want to be gone a lot because of the touring. So I waited until I was 35 years old to start stand-up comedy. And what I did was I went to a comedy club in LA, and I told them that I had been doing stand-up for 5 years. And I dropped a couple of really big names and said, these guys told me to come here, that this is a great club. The owner says, how long have you been doing stand-up? I said, 5 years. I had never done it before in my life. He goes, okay. And they told you to come here? I said, yep. He goes, all right, come back tomorrow. You're on the show Saturday night. And that was an 8 o'clock Saturday night show. And I went on, they gave me the 3 spot, which if you know anything about stand-up, that's the sweet spot. It was the 3rd spot. It was a 15-minute set. I'd never done this before. I went on stage and I had such a good time, and I did well enough that the owner came up to me and asked me to come back the next night, and I've been doing stand-up ever since. The guy that went on after me asked me, how long have you been doing comedy? And I said, well, what time is it? He said, 10:15. I go, for about 15 minutes now. And of course he didn't believe me, but yep, that's how I got into it, with a little white lie. How do I handle hecklers during my performances? Well, I believe that the whoever's on stage kind of lends to them thinking they can heckle. So if you ever watch my set, I just keep it rolling. I keep it rolling. If I hear something, the biggest mistake that you can make as a comic, if you hear someone say something you didn't hear, like you couldn't understand what they said, then you stop everything and go, what'd you say? Biggest mistake ever, because now you're giving them permission to talk and heckle. If it goes past the point of like, I can't handle this person, usually I'll try to have a funny joke or something to kind of shut them down, and then hopefully if the security department at the comedy club I'm working knows what they're doing, they'll just get them out of the room. But usually I just bulldoze over them. I don't give them a chance. I don't ask the audience any questions. And if it, because here's the thing I tell new comedians: if you ask the audience a question, they're going to answer you, and next thing you know, they think they're part of the show. So I try to avoid that at all costs. How do I choose which stories or jokes to incorporate into the comedy routine? Tell the true ones. Don't make it up. If it's a true story that you truly believe is funny, the audience has no choice but to get on board, if you have that level of confidence. But yeah, I just talk about the true stuff. People always ask me, how do you remember your material? Because I haven't physically written a joke down in 18 years because I memorize everything. But if it's a true story and something that actually happened, it's not like a made up story that I have to memorize. So the things that I choose to talk about are the things that happen in my life. A lot of people don't know this, but I go on stage sometimes and I'll do a bit and talk about something that happened that day, just to figure out, how to tell a joke with that story. But I'll bring it up on stage, something that happened. It's an exercise I used to do. I was like, tonight at my show, I'm going to talk about something that happened today because it's a true story. And that's kind of what I try to stick with, real life stuff, Have I ever had to change my comedic style or adapt to a certain audience? No, you shouldn't have to. I truly believe that funny is funny across the board, and you have to adapt to the room, but I'm never going to change my style, because my style is what got me booked on the show in the first place. They want me, so I'm not going to go in there and go, uh-oh, I better change, because like I said with one of the previous questions, is I talk about things that really happen. So the bits are always going to be the same. As far as delivery and style, I'm just very conversational, and I'm not going to, come up with a catchphrase at the end of each bit because I think the audience will like that. But I don't change. I don't change at all. No matter what room I'm doing, whether it's an urban room or a white room or an older room or an Asian, you know what I'm saying? I just do my thing. What is the funniest experience I've ever had with another comedian? Gosh, there's so many, it's hard to choose just one, because most of the other comics that I hang with or tour with, they're not just other comedians, they're really close friends of mine and considered my best friends. So we're always laughing and having a good time anyways. But man, to narrow it down to one, I don't think I could do that. There's just so many road stories. Here's a funny one. I was doing the road with a buddy of mine, and then our other friend happened to be in the same town. So he decided to stay at my hotel room this night because we stayed up late partying. And we wake up in the morning. I'm in my pajamas in the middle of a giant king-size bed. He's on a little tiny couch wearing his clothes from the night before. And he wakes up and rolls and turns to me and he says to me, "What are you doing in my room?" I said, "Look, man, you're dressed and on the couch, and I'm in the middle of the king-size bed in my pajamas. You're in my room." And then when I got out of bed, I stepped right into a puddle of his vomit. I said, "That's the kind of night it was. That's the kind of night it was." And that's just one of too many stories, some that I wouldn't even tell. Most unusual or unique location that I've ever performed stand-up comedy, there's a sex shop in Hollywood called the Pleasure Chest. And someone decided to put on a comedy show at the Pleasure Chest in Hollywood, which is a sex show. And the funniest thing that happened there is I walk in and all the other comics are there. And one of my buddies and fellow comedian, his name's Ron Funches, he's also on the show. And he kind of walks up to me and looks around at the place and goes, "So how's your career going?" Because we're doing stand-up in front of sex toys and, dildos.
You have a twin brother.
Yeah, I have an identical twin brother, David Collings, and him and I have a podcast that we do together called Unidentical. It's a lot of fun. I'm kicking myself every day because I should have been doing this podcast 5 years ago, but I was doing other ones and stuff. But this is the one that I'm the most happy with. It's the most comfortable. Him and I, we're the same guy almost. And this is why I call it unidentical, because we are identical twins. However, we're very different in a lot of different ways. Like, he's not the kind of guy to get up here on stage and talk on a microphone in front of hundreds of people. He's just not gonna do that. However, he is one of the funniest people you'll ever meet. My brother's super funny, but he's different. He has different interests. He's super into like nerdy stuff, like Marvel and Star Wars and all that stuff. So he learns a lot from me, and he likes to. And we ask each other all kinds of questions on the episodes. Like, he always wants to know what's going on behind the scenes in comedy, and then he kind of enlightens me on a lot of subject matters such as like Star Wars and Marvel and all that stuff. But yeah, the podcast is a lot of fun. A lot of the episodes are just two of us, just me and David. But we also are having guests, and we got some big ones coming up soon. So if you want to check out that, we're on every platform. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, wherever it is that you download it, and we're also on YouTube at Unidentical Pod.
So you just had your first special premiere on Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm. Tell me about how do you feel? How was the process how long did it take?
Oh, it took 18 years. I've been doing stand-up since I was 6. That was my very first special. A lot of things happen in the business. Pendulum's always swinging one way and the other way, and the industry wants what they want. And so, things would happen, whereas, a lot of guys that are my peers are 4 or 5 specials in right now at this point, where this was my very first special. We shot it in Nashville at the Analog Theater at the Hutton Hotel in Nashville. It's out right now on Amazon Prime, and it's just time. It was just time. It's a lot of people said it's been a long time coming. I have a lot to talk about. I have, this hour that I've been cultivating for years. And so, yeah, finally I got the opportunity with this amazing Emmy award-winning production company that shot it. And it's funny because we waited 18 years and then it didn't come out for 2 years. We shot it, and then all kinds of stuff happened with shutdowns and strikes and all that stuff. I shot it when did I shoot that? I shot it in 2022 and it came out in 2023. It came out in 2023. So, and it was so long time coming. Then it came out January 11th, 2024. And on January 16th, I went to Toronto and shot another special. I've already shot another half hour with Russell Peters and his brother's company for a new streaming platform called LMFAO Comedy Club. It should be coming out sometime in March. So now I got 2 in the can. So now what am I going to do? Now I'm going to talk about new stuff. How did I start here at the Comedy Magic Club? So a really good friend of mine, this is a guy I've been friends with since before I was a comedian. I came here as his guest, and that guy's name is Joe Coy. Heard of him? Known Joe Coy for over 20 years, and I was kind of tagging along with him while he was doing his thing. And one of the places that he brought me along was this club here. I came with Joe Coy, and we sat in that green room, and we had that amazing food, and I looked at all the signatures on the bricks, and I thought, and I wasn't even a comedian yet. I thought one day I'm going to perform at this comedy club. And I think it was something like 7 years into stand-up. Richard and I got a hold of each other, and they let me work out my 5-minute Tonight Show set here at the club. So when I first started doing this club, I was only doing 5-minute guest spots to work out that late night spot, which was, I was one of the last guys to do it on Atlanta before I moved to New York. And then once all that happened, it was call us for your avails, however they did it back then. I've been here now for 11 years. I've been a part of this club for 11 years now, and it's one of my. There were so many things that happened here that were just huge milestones for me. Like when they walked up to me and gave me a Sharpie to sign a brick, I was like, oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me! I'm done. I can retire now. When they put my picture on the wall, huge, and asked me to sign it. The only thing that hasn't happened yet, I'm gonna have to talk with you about it, is I'm not on the slideshow.
We need to work on that.
We gotta fix that.
We need to work on that.
But no, I'm happy.
But then another thing, you're opening for Jay Leno here tonight.
That's what I'm doing here tonight. I'm opening for Jay, and I hadn't worked with him since I did the Tonight Show 11 years ago. And he couldn't be a nicer guy. I brought my mom tonight. She got to meet Jay, and my mom hasn't been here since 2015, so it's really cool to have her back. And it's just been, this is one of my favorite clubs on the planet.